Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch podcast, sponsored by Prize Picks. My name is Adam Cohen, I am your host. I would like to first apologize, to all you listeners out there that we haven't had podcasts the last several days. I'm going to cop to it. It's fantasy football season, and I had, in the past week, almost a full week, I've had, let me see if I have my count correct, 6 season-long fantasy football drafts. Not every day. Like, there was a couple of days I had 2 in one day. Like, it was a lot going on. And, some other stuff was due and was actually playing some Counter-Strike. So, my fault. I apologize. I'm back. And now I have an announcement. So, no, the podcast isn't going away. Don't turn us off! Podcast is here to stay. We're back. We're at it. We're in the ESL Pro League Season 14 playoffs. And the announcement is this. I'm entitling this podcast, The Return of the Welch. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Our illustrious co-host, Dan Welch, is back. Dan! Mr. I win all the GPPs by not being on the podcast. What's happening, my friend?
Not too much. I am happy to be back.
Glad to have you back. I think everyone was getting sick and tired of just listening to me bibble and babble for like 17 minutes of podcast.
I doubt that, but
listen,
I can understand.
Thanks, Dan. Some of the podcasts would have been only like 6, 7, 8 minutes long. I'm like, okay, I can't have like this small a podcast. We gotta do something. So it's so happy to have you back, joining us right in the middle of a DFS heater that you are on. So, Dan, why don't you tell the folks about it? Because you've had a couple of successful last few days.
Yeah, it's been a good run, and it's probably about to end. So I'm gonna probably not play too much tomorrow, just because 3 days in a row is that's about as good as it gets for me. So.
So Dan's being modest. So Dan's still been playing CS:GO DFS, but he took second a couple of days ago in the big 5K to first GPP, and he won a couple other tournaments for this past slate. I don't think it was the big one, right? You won a couple of smaller ones.
I didn't do very good in the big one because I had a lot of 4s in the.
You and me both.
Yeah.
So much 4s. I only played one lineup, and I captain Flit. I don't know what happened to them. Ents happened.
It was sad. Yeah, I think Ents is pretty good.
They are good. I was just like, you know what? Flit's been good. Let me just go with them. But hey, for 4s to be able to say, hey, we made the playoffs of Pro League as a replacement, that says a lot. Because they didn't even, get into this tournament. They were a replacement for, who did they replace? There was some other team that couldn't make it. It wasn't. Sure. I don't remember who it was, but 4s came in as a replacement for a team, and they showed out. My goodness, did they show out? They show they can play. So I'm happy for them. On to this slate, Mr. Welch.
Let's do it.
So happy to have you back. And ladies and gentlemen, the CSGO Clutch podcast is sponsored by Prize Picks. Head over to prizepicks.com. Sign up using the promo code CLUTCH. Again, that's promo code CLUTCH. New depositors will get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And it's I'm going to totally change topics. I'm going to personally plug this. Go also check out Prize Picks NFL content. Prize Picks is the place to be this season for NFL. This is not an NFL plug for them. This is a me plug because I am also an NFL DFS analyst. And you can find my content over on the Main Event DFS Discord, YouTube channel, and Twitter. Most likely it'll be on Discord and YouTube. I am going to have game-by-game breakdown podcasts. I'm going to have my Stardom or Fatum article. It's essentially what it's going to be. Stardom or Situm, Stardom or Fatum, however you want to call it. I'm going to have that on a weekly basis. I may have a live show on a weekly basis, which is going to probably be an hour before a main event lock on a Sunday morning. So I just want everyone to keep that in mind. So again, I am going to have a game-by-game breakdown podcast video. I am going to have my Stardom or Fatum article, and I'm going to possibly have my live stream back as well. So a little plug for that. It's Main Event DFS, MANE not MAIN, which I thought it was for the longest time. MANE event DFS. Check us out on YouTube, the Discord, and on Twitter. All right, now that I got my NFL plug out of the way with, because I'm so excited we're recording this on Wednesday and NFL starts tomorrow night. Let's get into this matchup. I believe we're already into the semis. Are we in the semis now? We're in the we're in the round of quarterfinals. My bad.
It's still quarterfinals.
Quarterfinals, starting the quarterfinals. And we start off here, Dan, with OG versus the Ninjas in Pajamas. OG versus Nip. Pricing: Mantu's at 9,400, as he should be. Flames is 8,000. Here's an interesting price tag. Valde is 7,000. Nico at 5,800 and Alexi B at 5,000. On the OG side of things, what do you like here?
I would say they're all in play. I mean, OG or Mantu's that's a pretty big price for him. I just don't see the ceiling, especially when you got somebody like Flames cleaning up getting a lot of the kills.
If we take a look at Flame, has DraftKings updated their stuff? They have. Okay. These ESL ones went there for some of the teams. So if we just take a look at what they've done in Pro League. So Flames versus VP, he had 59 DK points. Versus G2 65, 4 60, Sinners 96, Complexity 41. So we know Flames is a good player, but 29 11 23, 36 8 31, 58 15 57, 76 17 58, 25 13 14. Has Flames become the number 3 on this team? Mantu the 1 and Valde the 2?
I would say Flames is number 2. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I mean, Flames should be 3, but he's like that, 2B to Valde's 2A.
So maybe Mantu does deserve 9,400.
Oh, he does. He's insane. And as soon as DraftKings here wants to load Valde's card,
he's not going to get he's going to get mid 80s at top. That's his ceiling, is mid 80s DK points.
Who?
Mantu.
I mean, he's had some banger games.
Oh, yeah.
So, but again, like you said, this is what he's done just on Pro League. 79 DK points, 89, 64, 78, 85. I mean, he's the one, if you're playing OG, I'd build around.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Now, Valde, on the other hand, has been super consistent. So maybe Valde is more of a cash game play and Flames more the GPP play. Valde, again, being consistent. 67 DK points, 60, 62, 60, 66. So, he went, VP. This is kills, assists, and deaths. So, 47, 29, 27, 11, 24, 62, 12, 62, 58, 16, 54, 44, 8, and 35. He hasn't had a negative map. Or, a negative match. But, Valde's been safe. And we've seen, you can play that to what Flames has done. He had the 96 game, couple 60s, couple below that. Flames may be more the GPP play. Valde, we know, is always a play for GPPs, but probably a little safer. So Valde probably more of that cash safe play on the slate.
I like where you're headed with that. I have to agree.
All right, and Nico and Alexi B both coming in under $6,000. They're fine.
Yeah. I usually play Alexi B if I think they're going to get Inferno, which they probably will.
I also like playing him on Mirage.
Yeah. I used to like him on Train, but Train's gone. So
that is true. But we've seen a lot of Ancient played, which is really encouraging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, Ancient, aka Rushby.
Nip they had a really good Inferno against Gambit. They tanked Gambit.
Well, let's talk about the Ninjas in Pajamas. So on the Nip side of things, Device coming in at 8,600, Rez at 7,800, Hampus at 6,200, Plopsky is 5,600, and Linus, or LNZ, is coming in at 4,600. Device has let a lot of people down.
I will go back to my old mantra.
Oh. He's not back on the pod 10 minutes, and he's already talking about how old Device is.
He can't carry.
Oh, here we
he
go.
Cannot carry.
Here we go. I gotta kick you off the pod now. No, I'm kidding. And see, this is what I meant. Like, DraftKings doesn't have ESL stuff up for NIP. So, I'll just head over to HLTV real quick. Matches. OG NIP. NIP. Device. Stats. Last month of play. I mean, so this is all Pro League, in essence. +4 against Liquid and Tropic, okay. Did good. Team 1 did good. Furia, F. Tanked. Gambit +3. Mouse Sports, F. Negative.
And they won. Which is weird.
And I think Rez did good in those matchups. So if we go head over to Rez, he's the one I would build around for NIP. Rez has been playing outstanding.
Definitely build around Rez. I mean, he's got to be he's their star as far as I'm concerned, and he's like he comes across as like a really humble star for me, which I appreciate.
So it's not exactly like the Ninjas have been, these super high stats, right? He was -12 against Liquid, -6 against Entropic, +9 against Team 1, negative against Furia, crushed Gambit, was +12, and then was plus whatever against Mouse. He's the one I'm building around. And also, Ancient 17 and 15, Ancient 19 and 21, Ancient 28 and 19, Ancient 25 and 12. Just saying. He likes Ancient.
I do like me some Rez.
He likes Ancient. So, I think you build around Rez if you're building anything around the Ninjas on the slate. I think Rez is who you start with at 7,800. You're going to have to make a decision if you want to pair him with Device.
I like that pair.
I mean, a very popular combo is probably going to be Rez, Device, Hampus. We saw Plopsky have a mega match. Let me back up here. Plopsky showed his old self. Plopsky, I can go and frag out of my mind.
I could see LNZ pulling a lot of ownership too at that price.
+15 versus Entropic. +12 versus Team 1. +4 versus Gambit.
Is Plopsky?
Plopsky.
Yeah, Plopsky's in play, for sure.
I think Plopsky's firmly in play. I'd only play Plopsky in GPPs, though, and specifically large field GPPs.
No, you gotta take a risk.
That's why.
Single entries. Put him in captain.
You've been away from the podcast too long. I would absolutely not play Captain Plopsky in a single entry.
You know how I cleaned up yesterday? Poison in captain.
At least that's a viable captain.
Nobody had it. No one had it. He was 10% owned in the large one and like 1% in the captain. It was crazy because no one thought they had it. Well, they lost, but I mean,
Poison scored crazy.
Yeah, and then so my theory is when there's someone like a stand-in like NATO, I feel like the other guys get more kills.
It's possible.
There's a high concentration.
You've had a month off. Don't give me this yawning crap.
I'm tired.
All good. Anything else you want to talk here about this game? As I think that kind of fits it. Like, I'm leaning OG beating NIP 2-0.
So I'm gonna go down Narrative Street.
What's Narrative Street?
This is a really complicated, or maybe complex one. So I'm sure everyone knows about the Hunden Chronicles, as they say on HLTV confirmed.
I'm still listening to that podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack. I think is the other thing
that's the most professional way we're going to say it, ladies and gentlemen.
And some other players from Heroic, including Nico, have been implicated by Hunden, who's a liar and a cheater, as being complicit in the cheating. So maybe that publicity will affect Nico and he'll play bad. That's my narrative.
It's quite possible.
Very convoluted, but you never know.
Yeah, I just don't see Nico or Alexi B really being optimal at all on the slate. I just don't. I think this is going to be heavy Mantu, Valde, Flames in that order.
Yeah.
Because if OG want to win, those three need to do well.
I have a feeling ownership is going to be pretty split between OG and Nip.
Yeah, because this is a pick'em. So if we have our Pinnacle betting odds, I loaded these before we started recording. I'm gonna refresh, see if we got any updated lines. So right now we got OG as a minus 134 favorite and Ninjas plus a 111 underdog. It's not exactly crazy odds.
So I just flipped the coin twice. Both times came up OG. So
I'm
gotta go with
sorry
OG.
that OG is blue and the Ninjas are like yellow and black. You can't put it all on black, and if you're putting it on black, therefore you're just gonna put it on the Ninjas. Or do
Yeah.
you put it on red? I forget how you play that logic.
Always bet on black until you have to bet on red.
Oh boy. All right. Anything else you want to say about this game? Or are we gonna get into the one where we're gonna have some spicy hot takes for the viewers and listeners?
Spicy. I have nothing. Yeah, LNZ at that price I think is he's been doing pretty good.
I have zero interest in LNZ. If you want to play him in 20
Uh,
maxes and above, I'm fine with that.
the price though, it's what is he,
He's
4,600?
$4,600.
If they win, he could outscore that by a long shot.
It's
You know,
possible. I just have like he's. I'd play Plopsky way before I play LNZ. With all due respect to LNZ. All right, let's get into our spicy hot takes. Before we get into our game 2 here real quick, we have a couple more plugs to get out of the way with. You can follow the CSGO Clutch Podcast on Twitter at CSGO Clutch Pod, and you can follow me on Twitter at AdamWX21. You can follow Dan on Twitter at 1Delch, WANDELCH. And lastly, drop a like on this video, leave a comment down below, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. That way that you all are notified every single time one of these podcasts drop. Hit that show more button in the description. You can check out the information about this episode. All right, Dan, it's spicy hot take time. It's Team Vitality versus Gambit. I think you and I are on Team Vitality to beat Gambit in this matchup.
I am.
I also want to point out a glaringly mispriced by DraftKings. Zyru is $8,200.
Yeah, that's too low.
There's no excuse for that.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
I understand it's a Gambit discount. It's freaking Zyru. Shiro's 9,800 and Zyru's 8,200. Just think about that for a second.
yeah, that's a mismatch.
That's a terrible misprice. We're going to take advantage of that. So let's go with Team Vitality's pricing. Zyru, the offer for Team Vitality. And for new listeners out there, the offer for OG is Mantu. The in-game leader is Alexi B. For NIP, the offer is Device. The in-game leader is Hampus. Team Vitality, Zyru is $8,200. Masuda, $6,800. Shocks at $6,000. Apex, the in-game leader for Team Vitality, is $5,200. And Kyojin at $4,400. Dan, talk to me about Team Vitality.
I kind of like Shocks.
$6,000 for Shocks. I like it. If Team
Yeah,
Vitality want to win this at all, Shocks has to play good. Decent to good. And let Zywu do his thing.
Yeah, I mean he's got a low ceiling, but I think that for that price, he usually floats around like between 7 and 9,000. So that price is actually good for me.
I like that price on Shocks. I love the price tag on Masuda even more, $6,800. We've seen him in the $8,000 range recently.
Yeah.
I think for me, I
Yeah,
can see.
Vitality's the way to go.
I would agree with that. I think the main four from Team Vitality are in play, with the exception of Kyojin, unless you want to play him in 20 maxes and above. It's Gambit. I don't expect Kyojin, who's newer to the Tier 1 scene over the last couple months, to be on anywhere near Gambit's level. With all due respect to Kyojin. So for me, it's Zyru 1, Apex 2. I like Shocks 3 now, Masuda 4. Know that Masuda has upside on any given slate. But I really like the Shock's call. I wasn't even considering it because I normally just go Zaiwu Masuda. And I've been captaining Masuda so much recently. I like the Shock's call. I really do. But Apex has also been really, really, really solid recently. Putting up really good numbers and showing off his insane USP skills. If you all haven't seen the USP 4K on Mirage versus Complexity, it was bananas. Actually, let me see if I can pull that up. Sorry, Dan.
Please do. I'd like to see it again.
Alright, so I'm going to try this the best way I can, ladies and gentlemen. So let's do here. I'm going to go to the results here. Where's their match versus Complexity? I don't know if you can hear it. I apologize if you can't hear it, but you're at least able to see it.
Can they close, though? That's the question. Should be easy, not always in reality. Complexity with elimination on the line, have a lot to show, a lot to prove. Poison flashing them through. Jungle S-Tag with the opener, jumping into the sight shot.
That's one.
Too many targets, not enough time.
2, 3, 4.
Oh my goodness!
Are you kidding me?
Apex holds strong, he's got 4 in the round, and it's Vitality to lock in a pistol. That should
Let's watch this replay.
Right there.
I am
One.
lost for words. Apex came into this, flapping his tongue,
2.
looking good, but
2 1-tap headshots. Are you kidding me?
Sure, look at this, bro, disgusting.
Yeah, get up. That's bananas. Dan, you were saying before, you better get out of your seat for that. Get pumped for that.
Yeah.
That's nuts. Anyway, I still think Apex is a good play. He's been very consistent for Team Vitality. He's kind of been their 2A, 2B between him and Masuda recently. He's been more consistent. Masuda's been consistent but has those ceilings. So does an Apex. I think Team Vitality beats Gambit. I think it takes 3 maps, but I think Team Vitality beat Gambit. Now, if we switch over to the Gambit side of things real quick, and you can come back and finish telling us what your Team Vitality takes. Shiro, the Opera for Gambit's 9,800. Axile comes in at 9,000. Hobbit at 7,400. Might be one of the biggest price gaps I've seen between Axel and Hobbit in quite some time. Nafany, the IGL for Gambit at 6,400. And Inters, who's I believe like the support role for Gambit, comes in at 5,400. Talk to us about the Gambit side of things and the Team Vitality side of things, because I'm taking Team Vitality on a large field GPP scale, as opposed to, like, if I'm playing cash, I'm probably going Gambit. Because it's OG Gambit for cash is safe, in my opinion. And, like, obviously Gambit can go out and show why they're the #1 team in the world, or were before Na'Vi went on their insane hot streak. And it's back in online play. So, Dan, tell us about the rest of this game.
Well, I think we get some Dust 2, and I think they'll float Vertigo. So 3-mapper, absolutely. What the 3rd map will be, I'm not sure, maybe Overpass, which is it's a good ceiling match for me. Either way, I think you kind of have to hedge. Even hedge all 4 games or all 4 teams, but I lean Vitality just because of ownership potentially being lower.
Yeah, and again, going back to the Pinnacle betting odds real quickly, Gambit coming as a minus 211 favorite, Vitality a plus 171 underdog. I'm taking advantage of that in large field GPPs.
Yeah, absolutely, you got to. I mean, there's nothing worse than being like, having Shiro's 80% owned and you end up on the bubble. Just because, everybody and their brother. It's worth spending that extra money, like, for losing. It's worth losing a couple of times by making these plays because of how much you can win. So the upside is so much higher.
If you're only playing a couple of shots in a large field GPP, you want to build to take down first. You don't want to cash. If you want to play for main cash, that's fine. I've been trying to adopt that mindset of, like, I want upside in all my lineups. And I'm going to have the same strategy for NFL, because those pools are bigger. What can get me ceiling? Well, Vitality can get you ceiling at low ownership. And then catapult you ahead of the rest of the field. For the Gambit side of things, though, you have to build around Shiro and Axile, in my opinion. You want to get you can put Hobbit in there. I like Nafany. Not a fan of Inters, but again, he's fine. So, like, my two favorites, Ashira and Exile, I like Hobbit 2 as like a 2B to 3. Nafany comes in after that, Inter is after that. But I think some combo of Shiro, Exile, Hobbit, and Nafany if you're 2 to 3 men stacking.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I mean, I think to be honest, like anyone's in play. I don't like Inters just because I don't know, just not a fan.
That's fine. Well, let's get into it,
every-
Dan. Core
Okay.
value, GPP, and favorite team stack segment. Go.
Core. I'm gonna go with Zaiwu, formerly known as Zaiwi.
There it is. We're bringing
There
back
you go.
all the old classics with this. Let's go. We got Bet on Black. We got your terrible device takes. We got your Zywee joke going on. Let's go.
I need some new bits. I need some new material. It's really
And while I have you, to finish your thought on that Team Vitality Gambit game. I cut you off a bit. Finish your thought.
Oh no, that was good. I was just probably gonna mumble, but I would re-emphasize the Shocks play. If that's for that price is good for me.
So with that being said, your value.
Value would be LNZ.
Okay. How about some
Um,
GPP plays? Give us two.
GPP. Let's go with Axile, and only because of his price, I think he'll get overlooked. Because it's going to be really hard to fit. And then let's do like Captain Shocks.
Ooh, I like it. All right, for me, core, Zywoo. You know, he's too underpriced.
Play him.
You play him. Close to a core play, but is going to be a GPP play, is going to be Manto. So I'll go with my value next. Value for me is going to be Hampus at 6,200. Shocks at 6,000. Apex at 5,200. GPP is Plopsky and Manto.
Oh, I like Plopsky.
Favorite team stack, Dan?
Ooh.
You don't have to have one, as I've posted in the main event DFS Discord for the Counter-Strike channel the last 2 nights with some of my plays. So if you haven't ever see a podcast, reach out to me on Twitter or come check us out over at main event DFS. I'm more than happy to get you guys a link, free Discord. But I'm posting some of my thoughts in there. The last 2 slates, all 4 teams are in play. Same thing here. All 4 teams are in play. You're in the playoffs. You can't just go, I am on 100% of OG and 100% of Team Vitality. You got to mix and match your combinations. There are only 20 players. And there are only so many ways you can get different and have combos. So, I don't technically have a favorite team stack. If I have one, it's OG.
Yeah, if anything, I'm leaning towards 2-1, 2-1. Just because I think these are going to be close.
Yeah. You don't have to have a favorite team stack. Like I said, I think all 4 teams are in play. Closest thing to a favorite team stack for me is OG.
I'd agree. Sure.
Cool. Well, let's get into our prize pick segment here, as we always do at the end of the podcast, and then Dan and I are going to head on out of here. I got some All Elite Wrestling to watch and some Counter-Strike to play.
Boom.
Let's get into it.
I've got some
Dan,
bed to sleep in.
there you go. Alrighty, Dan. Who you got for prize picks? There are a couple that stick out to me. Give us 3.
Wow. I'm just surprised at Mantu. Well, I don't know if it's
41.5 for Mantu. That's a really good line. I'd probably stay away from that.
Yeah. It just seems like I don't know. I mean, it's definitely possible. Don't get me wrong. These are.
There were some really good ones.
I think the Valda one is probably doable for the over.
I would agree.
And I think I would do the Mantu over, but I wouldn't love it, or I don't love it. And then maybe Masuda over, and then
Look at Shocks' line.
I'd like to actually under on Farlig.
What's Farlig
40.5.
at? Yeah,
got
that was Dope
40.5.
Pony. Okay, I can see that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe even body on the over. I'm sorry, I missed what you said there.
I can't believe you're not picking your Sharks line. So let me give my 3.
Wait, where is it?
Alexi B, over. 32.5, too low.
Oh, I
Sharks,
didn't see that.
33.5, over.
Yeah, agree. Smash it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go Valde over.
I like it.
All right. That's going to do it for Dan and I. Dan, so happy to have you back, my friend.
Me too.
We will see you all for the next episode of wow. That's what happens when you got to juggle 2 sports now. We'll see you all again for the CSGO Clutch podcast. Again, if you are interested in my NFL content, because my mind is clearly focused on the first day of the season tomorrow, Cowboys versus Bucks. Check us out over at Main Event DFS. You can reach out to me or Dan on Twitter. I'd be more than happy to give you the Discord link. Hop into the community. Great community over there. And again, you can check out our Counter-Strike content over there and my NFL content as well. For Dan, I'm Adam. Good luck on this slate. And again, Main Event DFS, MANE, not MAIN. Good luck on this slate. Latest, peoples.